Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to build this 1/400 scale control tower number 2 for your model airport. I hope you enjoy it.
Before we get started with the project, let's review some of the tools that we're going to need to complete this project. First of all, paper. You need to print all the different pieces for the specific project you're working on. You can use cardstock or you can use photo paper. You want something that is very heavy and thick. Cardstock works very nice, but I prefer using photo paper because the quality is better, the images are sharper and nicer. Uh, but again, you can use cardstock, it works pretty well. When you set up your printer, you want to set it up to the highest quality possible. And a lot of the printers, you go to preferences and then it shows you a bunch of, regular paper, photo paper, whatever. Always select photo paper, and then depending on the photo paper you're using, whether it's glossy or matte, then you set the printer accordingly. Also, if you're printing on cardstock, still use the photo paper setting. Photo paper in this case will be photo paper matte. On some of the buildings that you're gonna be building, if they have a lot of glass, what I do is I print that on glossy paper, but most of the stuff I use the matte because it's gonna be like cement or brick or whatever, so you don't want that thing to be all nice and glossy. So make sure that whichever one you choose to use, set it to photo and the highest quality possible. Next, we have to cut the paper, all the different pieces. So for that, I usually use an X-Acto knife. Be careful. These things are very, very sharp. For certain projects also you need a pair of scissors to cut some corners and stuff. It's a lot easier to do it with scissors. And then to guide you in the cutting, a nice ruler. I again prefer metal rulers because you don't have the problem with the blade kind of going in there if it's plastic or something like that. So get your ruler and get your cutting utensils. When it comes to gluing the whole thing together, I like to use contact cement. These are two of the ones that I use. I use a lot of them. Again, if you don't want to use these, that's okay. Anything that works for you. And in certain occasions, I have been using lately a stick glue. So again, whatever works for you, try the different ways and see, what works better for you. Also, I like to have around a marker. Sometimes you need to mark certain things or cover when you fold things, if it's black and then the fold is white, then you put the marker to cover that. And also once in a while you'll see me using a little bit of tape because if I'm putting something together and it's kind of small, the tape gives it a little bit more reinforcement. So anyways, this is basically what I use for doing these projects. Let's go ahead and get started. So for the control tower, we have these 4 pages. I have printed these on the matte photo paper, and then this one, because it's going to be the area where all the windows and stuff are, I printed it on the glossy paper, so it gives it a little bit of a shine. Because of a couple of things that I'm going to do, and I want to show you why, uh, I'm going to be using for some of it a stick glue. You can use it pretty much for everything, but for some things this works better than the regular glue. So you see what I'm talking about. Also, you're going to need a pair of scissors because there's going to be a lot of little cuts that we're going to have to be doing here, and it's just way easier to do it with the scissors. Also, the tower, with all this stuff in the top, tends to be a little bit top heavy. So I like to put inside of the building some kind of weight. It could be anything. You can get maybe a little bag with some sand in it. Usually what I do is I get a little bit, a little weight. These are the ones that you get for fishing. You can get them, anywhere. They're pretty cheap. They're kind of heavy. So, you can use this. You can use a little sand, whatever, if you want to. If you don't want to do anything like that, that's fine too. Uh, so the way that I cut this is where it says score, what you do is you want to use a very light cut. By that I mean when you put the blade, just kind of go over. Don't put a lot of pressure on it. Put some pressure, but very little. Why do we do this? Is because when you're going to make a fold, then you get a very nice sharp fold. So to get started, let's take these two guys. And this is where the stick glue is going to come in handy. Do a score right through the middle here. Just a score. And then we fold this. This one also, what I would do is cut this out. You can do this later. Do the score here. And then fold it. This is where the stick glue comes in. So, you know, more or less this area here. What we want to do is we want to make a two-sided piece. So what I do is I like to put some of the stick glue here. So that it sticks really good. What you want to do also, let's do this first. Put it outside. Put some kind of weight on it, like a book or something, while it dries, and we do everything else. So these things are very nice and flat. You may want to also cut this one in half, and like I said, put it somewhere, put some weight on it, and you know, while we do the rest of this stuff, it'll dry out. Okay, so let's start with the top first, because this one, it's not complicated. It's just that it's a little funky, but you'll be able to do it fine. So there's a bunch of cuts this way, and then score, 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 scores. And when it gets tricky is that you want to score this, 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 so you know it's kind of going around. So you're going to look for your score mark here and another one here. And then this one goes with that one. And this one goes with that one, and so on and so forth. So that's where it gets a little, you know, making sure you find the right score mark. So let's do the scores first. Like I said, this one we go here, and then just follow the top, and then you'll find the other side. So we put this, follow the top, the other side, and then just score right inside that tab to the end of this tab. So now the next one is here. Again, follow the top, and you'll find the other mark. And just score between the tabs. And then this one, follow the top. Score. score. So we're basically going to do the same thing with the cuts, which will be the cuts at the top. On this one you can go, because they're outside, it's not a big deal. So like I said, just follow the top and you'll find the mark at the other end. Okay, so everything is cut here. So now we're gonna go here and here. And this one is a cut. Now we're gonna go from this center down here out, scoring all the different ones. So go from the center, and again you find the score mark, and then score it. And then you cut here. And then you want to cut here and here. And that should be it. So let's see if our scores worked okay. So this is going to be the tab that you're going to be using for getting this whole thing together. Now this is where the scissors come in to cut these little triangles. And then you want to go in. To me, this makes it a little easier than if I was going to do it with the X-Acto knife. And now we can bend these tabs. So for this one, for now, we just need a little bit of glue here. The easiest thing to do is just to bend this one here. And then when you bend this one, it should line up with this guy. And then you want to bend it again to make sure that everything, so you end up with this little triangle thingy. So let's put this on the side while we cut the next piece. This is going to be like a second part of the roof. Same thing, scores and cuts. That's pretty easy. I'll just go ahead and do the scores first. So a lot of scoring on this one because of all the different sides. Now this one is actually a cut. This one is also a cut on this side. And then we do a score here. Score here with, that should have been a cut there. Cut. And cut. So this is another one where the scissors are going to come in really handy. Okay. So now all we have to do is glue this tab. Same thing, you put this guy down here and then you fold this one and it should line up perfectly. And then you fold it one more time to make sure that everything looks good. Get all your folds done in there. And let's put this one over here. And then do the final part of the tower. You know, same type of deal. Cut and score. Cut. And then a bunch of scores. And then a cut here. Score here. Cut here. So one more time, and I promise you this is the last one. You're gonna be doing all these little angle cuts, these little triangle thingies. Okay, so once again, make sure the folds are working fine. Put glue on this tab. So when you fold it and you fold this one over, it matches perfectly. One more fold to make sure that everything looks good. So this is now your main tower. So now let's get back to those guys that we did that scoring in the flat glue. Ugh. So they've been sitting there for a while, drying up. So now just, because this now is a double thickness, so you have to probably cut like twice to make sure that you get through. So we're getting there, we're getting there. This is the last of the cutting. Okay, so let's start putting this thing together. So this is going to be the base. This is where the bottom of the tower is going to get glued to. then when it says here bottom, it means that goes towards the bottom. That goes in here. And then you put this guy, and then put it on top. Now before we do that, when we made the cuts and stuff and the folds, you see that this thing is kind of white because the paper is white. So what I like to do is completely optional, is take a marker and then go around the edge. So that that white doesn't show. So you do it on this little guy, and then you do it on this big guy. Okay, let's get this show on the road. So we start with the bottom of the tower. I'm going to put a dab of glue on each one of the tabs. And then what you want to do is you want to put it just around where this marking is. So just put it in there, kind of, jiggle a little a bit. And they make sure that it aligns with the line. Another thing that you can do is if you have like a long stick, something like this, that can help you pressing the tabs in there. And again, just play with it. Make sure that it aligns with the marks. Because as the glue dries, then it stops moving around. Again, I like to use this. Make sure that the tabs are down. Maybe put a little bit of pressure on it. Now, if you want to, if you have something that has maybe a little bit of weight, you may want to put it on top in here to, hold it in place. So let's put this on the side. And next, we're going to do something similar with the top here. Now this one goes where this bottom is. Those are the lines that you're gonna use. So again, you want to make sure that it lines up. So while this one dries up, let's do this top. Now this one, what we can do is put the glue directly in here. And then this one goes in here. Same deal. Line it up. The advantage of this one is that you have access to the tabs really easy here. And again, just play with it until it's lined up. You have a little bit of space all the way around. Okay. So now let's put the whole thing together. Like I mentioned to you, I'm going to be using this little weight to add some weight to the bottom of the tower. So the way I do that is I take some glue and just squirt some glue in there. You probably don't see it. And then just toss the thing down in the bottom. So hopefully eventually that glue will dry up and it's not going to be moving. But it's really nice. It gives it a really nice weight feel. Okay, so now what we do is we push these guys in. And then we put a line of glue here. Put it near the bottom because, you know, this thing is going to just shoved in there and then the glue will spread. You don't want it too high. And basically the same thing, just put this thing in there. What I would do is maybe turn it around a little bit to spread the glue. And keep pushing. Now what you want to do is, you see this little line here? That's where what you're going to use to align it. So it should just touch, just barely touch that line. Maybe even, you know, have a little bit of space. So that just, you know, lines it up real. Now the last part is to put the top, kind of like what we did on the bottom side. And this one is a lot easier to align because it's already, already the sides are set up. So just align it, and you are basically done. That's your control tower. What I would do is, if you have something with a little bit of weight, maybe, something like this, just put it on top. It should hold it. Maybe this is too heavy. But something with weight, just to keep it there while it dries. And then when it dries, everything will be nice and in place. So here's your new control tower.